Today we will discuss on transforming breath into a vehicle of going within. As we have already understood that the sadhak or the practitioner needs to find his own ways and means of going within as per his inclinations and psychological background. Eating can be converted into a meditation method. Having a cup of tea can be transformed into a meditation practice. A simple trot on the outskirts of your place or in your garden can be exploited into a spiritual method. Anything can be turned into anything. For the purpose of what? For the benefit of what? Is the only question. The only purpose and the only benefit is self-fulfillment. Making the presence in this incarnation on this planet Earth to be more and most meaningful. It becomes more meaningful only when you understand the importance of wisdom which arrives through self-discovery. Today, because it is called as Breath Awareness Summit, let me share with you the way of converting breath into breath energy into centering of one's consciousness. Most of the people do not know how to breathe. The lungs are breathing, you are not breathing. What is meant by you have to breathe? You means what? The entire you, the whole you needs to breathe. Till date, your lungs have been breathing. Gases have been getting exchanged at the alveoli of your lung. You are not breathing. When you breathe, the breath turns into energy, and the breath energy converts into consciousness, which gets centered. Most of the people's breath is shallow. Most of the people's breath is thoracic. Most of the people's breath is very much wrong. We need to breathe the way an animal breathes, the way a child breathes, the way a master breathes. I came to know about a Himalayan tradition who is extremely particular with the breath of the seeker. On the very first visit, if the seeker's breath is not proper, they will not invite him into the circle as a pupil. First step starts with rectification of these aberrations. Rectification means straightening of the wrong breathing patterns. How to straighten it? The breath has to move along with abdomen. The natural way of breathing is involving the abdomen for inhalation and exhalation. Why abdomen? Chest and abdomen are separated by a wonderful muscle called as diaphragm. Most of the aberrant breathers do not utilize the diaphragm for breathing. Only the intercostal muscles and some part of the clavicular muscles are utilized for breathing, in breath and out breath. For the normal tidal volume of the breath, tidal volume means the amount of air you take in during inhalation, which is around 500 ml per breath every time, which is not so in average human beings. When you take the normal tidal volume, the abdomen gets involved. The diaphragm pushes into the abdomen. When the diaphragm is pushed down, the abdomen moves up. The anterior abdominal musculature also get involved during the inhalation and exhalation process of the breath. Why abdomen has to be involved? Abdomen has to be involved because most of the people are stuck up in the head, stuck up in their own thoughts and thought patterns. Most of the people are stuck up in the emotions, emotional memories. Either they are stuck up in the head or they are stuck up in the heart. When the consciousness moves from head and heart to abdomen, what happens is you stop thinking the way you have been thinking. That means the patterns get broken. The emotional memories get broken. They get converted into wisdom. The headful consciousness turns into centered consciousness. And utilizing breath for that. How to utilize the breath for that? Utilize the diaphragm, and every time you inhale, the abdomen rises up. When you exhale, the abdomen goes within. The mastery of breath is that when every time you breathe, the abdominal moves forward and backward, it is called as mastery over breath. If you are not involved in the abdominal movement of your breath, you are not breathing at all. Your lungs are breathing. And this practice is a 24-hour practice. All the so-called non-meditation hours, you have to see that abdomen is getting involved in every breath you take. Every time you breathe, you have to breathe like a child and an animal and a yogi. There is no other way for you. You have to be like that. And the abdomen is involved, what happens is the inhalation makes the abdomen move forward and the exhalation makes the abdomen move backward. And when you become attentive, when you put your awareness on the movement of the rise and fall of abdomen, the routine headful consciousness of the mind gets annihilated. It gets devastated forever. You slaughter all these patterns and you go towards center. When you go and when the breath gets connected to the center, it gets synchronized with the universal energy. It triggers the awakening of wisdom. It triggers the inner awakening, otherwise called as enlightenment. Your life becomes more purposeful and meaningful. Slowly, the breath becomes vertical. It becomes slow. It becomes steady. It becomes smooth. In Himalayas, the wise man's breath is described as Tiladhara. That means it moves like a flow of oil. Tila means sesame seed. The same seed oil is more viscous. When it falls, no noise, it just drops like honey. When the water is dropped, it turns into a splash. It is turbulent. Most of the people's breath is turbulent. The turbulence of the breath has to be transformed into smoothness, like oil flow. The two ends of the breath, where inhalation turns into exhalation, where exhalation turns into inhalation, these two meeting points are extremely important. The second half of breath, that is exhalation, is more important than inhalation. During exhalation, we let go of ourselves. The feeling of let go happens when you exhale. Let go phenomena never happens during inhalation, because you are sucking the air in, you cannot let go. When you exhale, you feel as if you are unburdening yourself. A feeling of let go has to be aligned with every exhalation that you do. Alignment of letting go is a crucial element which makes the conversion of breathing from lungs to yourself. When you don't have the feeling of letting go, you really do not let go of your patterns. An emotion, a feeling of let go, with a passive attention of breath is very important. It is not active concentration, it is a passive, relaxed attention on your breath that is very important. The passive attention makes your consciousness wholesome. When the attention becomes more and more passive, you become more and more relaxed inside. Passiveness is the key element. Addition of the feeling of letting go is another important element. And exhalation is very important than inhalation, because letting go gets aligned to exhalation. The second part of exhalation is even more important, because that is the time when the exhalation sinks and disappears into a moment of silence. In every breath, a moment of nirvana happens when the exhalation ends. The ending point of exhalation, every ending point of exhalation is the moment of nirvana, is the moment of wisdom, is the moment of enlightenment. You can take the whole breath just for this one moment of ending of exhalation. The exhalation ends into nirvana, awakening of nirvana. You become more and more and more empty when you become more attentive of this one meeting point, exhalation turning into inhalation. While eating can also be converted into meditation, cycling can also be converted into meditation, the way exhalation can getting converted into enlightenment has got more beauty, has got more magnificence. The entire process appears to be very simple. That's how breath stands higher, stands separate from all the other so-called meditation methods. And it has to be 24 hour into 7. It cannot be confined to 1 hour of the day. As I told, the mastery of the breath is seeing that every time you breathe in and breathe out, abdomen gets involved. Every time you exhale, add the element of letting go, you become more and more and more, you get sunk into your center. The sinking of yourself, the sinking of your head into your abdomen has to happen. When the head sinks into your abdomen, that all the patterns get permanently annihilated. Now, we will get into the actual meditation through breath. For this, first and foremost important thing is utter inner relaxation. Be totally relaxed, physically as well, from head to toe. Hold your hands like this, one palm over the other, with the two thumbs just approximating each other, slight gap in between. This is called as cosmic mudra. Keep your body straight, eyes closed. There is a center for everything, even for your body and soul. The center is not in the head or heart, it is in the abdomen, 2 inches below and inside, which is otherwise called as Hara in Japanese language. In Japanese language, Hara means the center of your being. Passively, utterly passively, keep your mind's eye slowly in this area. Do not concentrate. Just keeps your mind's eye totally relaxed. Concentration is most of the people think that the attention is something which is active. The fact is, attention is something extremely passive. The more passive you are inside, the more wholesome becomes your consciousness. When you become whole, you will find your center easily. The center is not actually a physical center, though I am describing it as abdominal center, but there is a center for stillness. Once you are still inside, you find yourself in the abdomen. That is the reason why Osho told, make your belly your best friend. In Vedas also, this center has been described as Hiranyagarbha, Advaita. Dvaita means two, the pluralism. The pluralism becomes one. The head and heart become and merge into the Hara. All the thoughts and the feelings, they merge into the Hara, they become one. When you think from your Hara, the thoughts become different. And the thoughts which emerge from your Hara, which is center of your intuition, which is center of your wisdom, which is center of your immunity, which is center of your sexual energy, and all the fears also, they get centered in this place. But what should happen is, one should make use of one's fears. So in the process of self-discovery, you always find your fears. When you find your fears, your job is half done. You have to do those things which you fear most. When you do those things which you fear most, then fear becomes a stimulus for wisdom. All the masters exploit their own fears and convert them into wisdom. And fears get solidified here. When the mind's eye moves into the center, sometimes your fears will come to the surface. And you should make use of fears by way of witnessing. This center has been described in all religions, in all spiritual schools of thought. The mind's eye should be eternally fixed in the Hiranyagarbha, that is Hara center. Enlightenment is nothing but staying centered. Staying at the center of your consciousness, staying at your Hara is nothing but enlightenment. Hara is not a chakra. Chakras lie in the energy body, whereas the Hara lies in the consciousness body. Consciousness rules energy. Consciousness governs energy. Consciousness monitors energy. And you have to find out your center and stay there. Never come out of that. That is the entire purpose of going within. The adventures start when you get centered here. Finally, the journey of going within is moving from periphery to the center. And awakening of this center is just as far as the breath meditation is concerned. Just sit straight, close your eyes, relax your body and shoulders. Entire body is relaxed except spine. The only part which should not be relaxed is spine. When the spine is straight, you become straight. The mind becomes straight. And watch the rise and fall of abdomen with every inhalation and exhalation. Watch the exhalation process with the feeling of letting go. Sink into your abdomen every time you exhale. Slowly you find yourself more there. When the attention completely moves into the center, your thoughts completely cease. They stop abruptly. And the entire challenge is how to stay at your center in the so-called non-meditation hours. Staying centered in the so-called non-meditation hours is also a practice. When that turns into a practice, practice is 24/7 affair for whole lifetime. The adventure begins. You will be ever attentive, like a samurai. He is always attentive. A master is always attentive. Be with your breath and become yourself. In the year 2007, the World United has taken up its maiden event on 30th November. Years later, I came to know that 30th November has been celebrated as the birthday of Mahavatar Babaji. It appeared as a great coincidence, but coincidences do not happen in the world of spirituality. In fact, there are no coincidences at all. It has a meaning, tremendous, deeper significance. So, with the guidance of Babaji, we manifested that event for 5 days in December 2012 in the city of Hyderabad, followed by the Second World Parliament in Salt Lake City, Utah, USA. And for the year 2020, as per the guidance provided by Sri Mahavatar Babaji, we are contemplating to manifest in all the 6 continents of the world. In Asia, it will be in India. In North America, it will be in US. In Southern America, it will be in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro preferably. In Australia, most likely it can be in Melbourne. In Europe, it should be in Belgium or Barcelona. And in Africa, it should be in Cape Town. These are the ideas we have generated, and already action has been taken in this direction. So, we are forming continent-wise teams for manifesting World Parliament on Spirituality, the 3rd edition in 2020. So that so many people who consider themselves as spiritual can come onto one platform. The entire idea is, we have already seen and understood that birds of same feather flock together. But birds of different feathers flocking together for a common purpose and goal is what the World United is aiming for. Spirituality needs to be practiced in diverse forms. Uniformization of spirituality, conducting organized events, organized teachings in the name of spirituality can never be right. All these years, teacher has been dominating the teachings. Now, in the Aquarian age, the teachings need to dominate the teacher. Authenticity has to dominate the authority. Unity has to dominate uniformity. I should maintain my own flavor and substance and style. And you also need to. When we all flock together, then only it has beauty. It is not the uniform teachings or uniformity of anything that is required. Then it cannot be called a spirituality. So we are making that happen in the name of the World United. Now the World United Australia has emerged to take up the cause for Australian country, all the 7 states together, New Zealand, Fiji Islands or Micronesian Islands. For that area it will be in Melbourne. I invite each one of you, taking this as an opportunity, to attend, participate and involve yourself for the World Parliament on Spirituality 2020. Thank you very much.